Welcome to the first Rader Solutions podcast. I'm Jason Sikora.
I'm Chris Monju.
I'm Brandon Daigle.
I'm Jason McClurg.
All right, now that introductions are underway, we're going to talk about phishing. What do you guys think about phishing?
Love to fish.
Phishing's good.
It's just fun.
How about email phishing?
So bad.
It's just the worst.
It really is. Mr. McClurg, what is email phishing?
Essentially, email phishing is any email designed to garner information from an end user. So anything that that would allow the end user to give up passwords, sensitive information, just essentially anything designed to trick you into giving up information.
All right, very good. Mr. Daigle, don't pound the glass on the table. That makes a big boom. What are some signs? What do you look for in a phishing email? Like, what are some signs that it may be a phishing email?
Oftentimes there are misspellings, and the way that the phrases are worded look funny because usually they're written by foreigners. So they come in and they try to make it look as legitimate as possible, but it's usually not worded correctly. You can also double check the links. If you hover over, see where it's coming from and see where it's trying to go. If it says it's a legitimate account, you check the link and it's somewhere suspicious, then you should definitely raise a red flag.
I also think specifically phishing emails are going to be asking for things like account numbers, usernames, passwords, things like that in your response to, they pose as a legitimate website, a banking website, or...
I know McClurg is going to get to this later, but I feel like every company should have, when you get an email like that, you should almost double check everything because they're getting better at it. It's getting harder to spot the fake ones, and it's going to cost people a lot of money.
And some of if they're asking for a bank transfer, account information, hey, your domain is going to expire, send us some money. Hey, it's tax season, I need your W-2 information. All of these, I think, should put up a red flag. Like, hey, email is not sensitive. It's not a great way to send information. If they're asking for sensitive information, that you probably want to look into that. If you think, Mr. Manju, that you have been phished, and you haven't fallen for it yet, right? But you think it might be a phishing email, what do you do?
What I always recommend is people get some sort of voice confirmation. Somebody sends you an email and they're asking for account information, they're asking for a money transfer, they're asking for account numbers, passwords, and the sender is recognizable, but you don't understand why that would be sitting there. Instead of just responding to the email, contact the person who it looks like it comes from and see if they actually sent that response to you. And make sure that...
that's it. Voice conference, like call them is the big thing, right?
Yeah.
Don't email them back because if the account's been compromised, that's not going to help you at all.
Right.
Texting, maybe, but again, texting has been hacked now as well. So really, voice confirmation, I think, is the one.
Yeah.
Mr. McClurg, we talked about this before. What's the best way to prevent email phishing? Like, how? What's the front line? How do you stop it?
Well, I think that having provisions in place and having a specific email procedure is a great way to prevent anything like this, any sort of phishing, from getting any further than your inbox. I think that a corporate procedure in regard to money transfer, sensitive information, anything like that is extremely appropriate. Using email as internal memorandum is just a bad idea. This is not safe and secure. It's not as safe and secure as we think it is. Like Mr. Manju was saying about voice confirmation is always great. Having some sort of internal chat program for your organization to use as memorandum as opposed to email would also be a great way, at least to initiate confirmation. But I think that the keeping any sort of sensitive information out of emails, out of texts, out of chat, out of all of that stuff is very important, specifically when it's the administration that has this information to disseminate. It doesn't need to go into those avenues. It can be related verbally.
Yep.
I think a protocol too. You say, look, when someone requests money through a chain, no matter how it is, email or otherwise, we do these things. And if there's anything that doesn't follow these protocols, then that's a red flag.
Absolutely.
Yep. And
Yeah.
voice
That might-
confirmation obviously being a big part of that, and
Yeah.
we saw one where the person hacked the owner's account and figured out the banker's name, figured out the bank information, got the signature, like made the email look exactly like it came from the owner, right down to, hey, ask Sally at the bank to go ahead and initiate this. Okay, still voice recognition. I mean, make that phone call. All right, we'll leave the last minute open to worst case scenario. You fell for it. The money is underway. What do you do at this point? From our end, obviously, you have to have some sort of protocol on the company end of putting a stop to it. But what else can be done? And I have a couple ideas, but I want to leave this open to the floor.
I don't know. Do the banks in that after the fact? Do they take any ownership, or do they try to do any detective work of any sort? I don't know. At that point, it's pretty.
The
bad.
one I worked with last year couldn't because it was a direct wire transfer, and basically it was gone. The money got transferred, and they couldn't put a stop on anything because it was immediate. But yeah, contact your bank, change your passwords in the immediate aftermath. Verify that nothing else got compromised. Review your other emails and make sure that other information hasn't been sent out. Things along those lines.
Identity protection at that point would be a good one. If you think that if it was W-2 information, social security number, these types of things,
Right.
Those are easy to get these days. Like you said, password change is a big one. Run malware bytes or some sort of malware detection software on your computer. Because who knows? Maybe there was an executable that was initiated on your computer that grabbed all this information. But also call your IT company, call us, and let us get our procedure into place, because we have things that we will do. First thing, change password, run these other programs to make sure that your computer is not infected, and try to put a stop to it in the future. Anything else we want to add?
Law enforcement, they need to be involved. Even if direct wire transfers, which seems to be a legal way to transfer money, if it's done under false pretenses,
Oh, sure,
it's
it's
a
fraud.
violation.
It's a good one. I like it.
Yeah, I've actually been emailing with somebody from the FBI in New Orleans the past couple of weeks about that case from last year. So
Interesting.
the wheels of justice are slow, but they turn.
Good deal. Well, thank you guys for joining me on Rader Podcast number 1, and let's do this again soon.
All right.
All right.
Thanks. Thank you.